Evening all. Right, I'm going to kick off. You saw another little overview. It's not an overview, it's a side view. I saw a little side view of what I'm doing on the frames at the minute. One thing I've been a lot of past work in the last few weeks. I don't know if you've seen, I've been doing a lot of drawing on the Loco frames. Now, the reason I've been doing a lot of drawing on the Loco frames is because I want to pick the frames up at the Midlands exhibition in October. So I need to get the file finished and away to Ed so that he can cut it at Model Engineers Laser for me, and then I can go and meet them at the show and pick the frames up. It's just basically, it's a cost on postage. You know, it's going to be a long old bit of parcel to send out. So I've been pushing really hard to get them correct. And when I say correct, I've had to draw the front pony truck rests has got a stretcher underneath the front, and you won't have seen it in the image that I shared today, for the simple reason is because I've obviously deleted a load of parts off it, so it's just the frames. But I've been drawing a lot of stretchers and things like that, just to make sure that all the holes that I've put in the frames themselves do marry up with what I'm going to put between the frames. And everything is working out bang on, but I just wanted to make sure, especially with the front pony truck, because I'm doing it as per full size, not as published. As published, it's just a block of cast iron with a lump in the middle and a pin going through. The front stretcher that the pony truck actually presses against, as it were, is a very elaborate affair, and it makes up also the platform support in front of the smoke box, so it's very, very intricate. Wanted to get all that bang on first. You'll also notice in past posts on probably on my personal page, so some of you wouldn't have even seen it, I'd done the first axle box there. Now you'll notice that when I got them, they're an odd shaped casting. They've got drawer on them in every possible angle, so I was trying to work out where to start, because it's, you know, I can't put it in the milling vise in the easiest way to get it so I could, you know, get a square and then start from there. And I worked out that the bottoms are the flattest part, or the squarest part, to any other face. So I started at the bottom and skimmed the bottom off. That would give me then a flat face to work from. I then flipped it up and machined the top off, because the top has got drawer on it. You can see it there. There's an hell of an angle on it, and it's because it's obviously come out of the sand mold. Machine the top off, but I did it in relation to that circle there you can see in the front, because the Timken cover obviously sits on that. So I got the boxes to the right, or I got this box that I've done, I got it to the right height there before I did anything with the two sides. Yeah, so I got that right, then I milled the back off, and then I milled the face. Once I got it in the right height and the right depth front to back, which is what that is, I then obviously attacked the sides, and I picked a center line and worked my way outwards. So I milled it off equally each side, so that this circle part will be dead center. And then I just, for fun, I put that top cover on, just to make sure everything was as it should be, and it is absolutely bang on. So I did one of those. I don't need to do that. Well, I did need to do it, because once the frames, you'll notice in that passing shot, once the frames are split apart and I want to take the horn guides to width so that the axle boxes slide in and out, I need an axle box ready for when that next job happens. There's still a lot of work to go into the horn guides. One I am going to take off and just show you. This one's had a lot of work to it. I don't know if you can see that. There's 2 long screws going through there. There's a part, I don't know if you can see it. Let me put my ciggy down. There's a part in here. Bounce the light off. There's a part there and a part there. And what it would be was it would have held, would have bolted through from this face here, where these heads are, and it would have held a liner on, you know, for the axle box to go up and down on. I'm not having that part that's going to be on here, but what it does allow me to do, because these are going to be screws, and then in this gap here there's going to be a fake grease nipple. That's the last bit to put in that gap there. What I am going to do, or should I say, how I got those 2 bits there, because if you look at an actual casting, let me pull one off the frames a sec, one that's easy to grab hold of. They're all temporarily held in with 7BA screws, because I'm going to screw them to the frames to drill the rest of the holes. When you get a raw casting, once it's cut, there's nothing in that bit here. Yeah. And if I try and link on a picture up here, at this part here and down here, there's an extra kind of part to the casting, which obviously this hasn't got. So what I did, I managed to find a counterbore that had a lead to the counterbore of 2.9mm, which is, if anyone out there that doesn't know, is 6BA clearance. So I drilled the clearance through from this side outwards. Then I put the counterbore in and I started nibbling away at this rounded piece here in there. I started nibbling away at it and made the hole bigger, and it made it up to a 1/4 diameter. Then I sliced 2 little bits of 1/4 diameter bar and I JB welded them in. JB Weld is an epoxy two-part compound, and according to them you can drill it, tap it and file it and do all different things with it. And what I did is I glued those in. Now they're not going to fall out, even though, because what's going to happen, these are going to be a countersunk screw on this face, so it's basically going to be held in by that bolt. But what it allows me to do is, 1, to get the representation so it looks like the full size picture that I showed you, and 2, if I want to put a liner in here, say if they start to wear, I don't know, 30 years from now, and they've got a bit of wear on the face, shims could be made that the countersunk screws could be held onto that face, and it can shim it back out to where it needs to be. So it creates a bit of longevity in the frames themselves. So that's what I've been tinkering around at, is putting that detail in those. Another one that I've been proper fiddling about with, and this one, quite a while ago, I said about the springs and the hangers, and then they've got a little hook shape on the end. Tonight I've been in between having a bit of a break from machine work. I thought I'm going to have a fiddle about with a bit of quarter brass, some 332 diameter steel rod, some 7PA nuts, one of my little laser cut pieces, one of those. And I thought I'll bugger about and see if I can get this little hook piece made. I knew in my head kind of what I wanted to achieve, but I didn't know if I could achieve it. This is what I've come up with. If you can see that. It's basically a piece of 1/4 angle I've drilled through there, created this little hook using my dad's jig that he made years ago to make these little hooks. Made a little hook, threaded the top, and what we've got now, we've got the little hook piece that we need. I've got my laser cut piece of steel. I've also cut a piece of inner tube, a bicycle inner tube. It's probably about 1/2 mil thick, bit of inner tube. That, it lays on top of that. Yeah. So in full size, there is a piece of cushioning rubber on top of that piece. Then this passes through the bottom of there, through that hole in the rubber, which is a bit of a tight squeeze because I made it purposely tight. We then shove that down onto the end of there, using your fingernail if you have to, and you get this type of thing going on. Yeah. Then you get your pre-drilled, oh, don't want to lose the rivet out of it, pre-drilled, there you can see the holes in there, pre-drilled spring hanger. That pushes up through there, and you can see it's just popped the thread out the top. Yeah. Nut on top of that, which is, it's a bit of a fiddle because it's right in the back, so when these are on the frames you won't be able to jiggle them about like I can do at the moment. Nearly dropped the nut on the floor, which then it'll be gone forever, because like any workshop, that's what seems to happen. You drop a tiny little nut on the floor and off it goes. So then I can preload that bit of inner tube. It's squashed in there, it's not going anywhere. See that? So at the back of it, there's the back of the angle, and there's the angle underneath, there's the hook. And what's going to happen now, let me get said spring, this will fit up underneath there, like so. Yeah. And if I grab hold of the spring hanger, it would stop the spring from falling out. If, for instance, the tender got unloaded from the wheels, that spring couldn't just fall out. Yeah, it couldn't twist its way out, it couldn't push that face open or anything like that. It just holds it in place. And that's all for that little bit there, underneath there. There we go, you can see it better now. It's, for our gauge, it's absolutely pointless, because it's not, the chances of that falling out, because I've tried to put those in the hangers, between the horn guides and the hangers anyway, that on its own is an awkward kind of shuffle in. They just go in. So the chance of me jettisoning a spring, it's not impossible, but the chances of it happening are quite slim. But that hook piece there, that is copied of full size, will do the trick. So now what that leaves me to do then is that I've copied what I saw, basically. As you know, that's kind of in a nutshell what that does in there. So if you're building a BR standard tender, they're all the same. 9Fs, BR1As and all BR2s, BR3s, which this is. All those tenders with that style of spring hanger had those little hooks on the end. It's very easy to make, that is for certain. The bit you'll probably need, if your spring hangers are the same, if your springs are the same width as mine, it's 5/8, it matches up with the spring, it's 5/8 across there. That is shaped to the back of the spring hanger, and then a hole through it, just to the right place. If you're building a BR standard tender in 7 1/4 and you want to put these bits in, send me a message and I'll send you the DXF file for that, and you can have your own laser cut. Don't ask me to send you a drawing for this little hook gizmy thing here, because I don't have that in a drawing. I have a jig that bends the hook, and I've just kind of winged it tonight to see if I can do it. Another one of those things, see if I can do it, and it's worked out bob on. That leads me on to a conversation I had yesterday with a chap called Simon, and about negativity in Facebook groups and stuff like that, and taking things with a pinch of salt, which I kind of do anyway with Facebook, because if it's on Facebook, who cares? Let's be honest. But he said something really that was kind of, I took something away from it. And he says that if anyone tries to get you down about your work, go out into your workshop and be creative, make something. And that's that for me tonight has never been a truer word. I just wanted to see if I could, and turns out I could. But yeah, that was a kind of a real what's the word, heartwarming thing to be said. And it was, I don't know what it was. There was nothing said to, in a group or out that was negative to me. I think it was just the way our conversation went on the telephone about how people can be negative on social media and stuff, about, people just trying to get creative in workshops. So there we go. Bit random, I know. So as you saw in the view of the sides, one side has got the spring hangers kind of loosely pressed in, the other side hasn't. As I say, I'm doing them horn guides at the moment to get them all to that stage with all that detail in. There's been a lot of milling going on, as you can tell, with one thing and another. I have sent off for some parts for the loco frame, some stretchers. And I know you're thinking, well, why are you sending off for that when you've got so much to do on the tender? Well, because this is going to get to the point where it's going to be on its wheels and stuff, and I want the bit at the front of that, so if it goes on display somewhere, at least you'll get an idea. It's not just a bit of bare frames and you think, well, what's that for? At least you'll see the loco at the front of it. So yes, I intend on putting this on show somewhere one day. I don't know where, and I don't know if I still actually will do that, because I'm still a bit, as daft as it sounds, I'm still, even though I'm very pleased with it, I do worry about what people may see or think or go, oh, that's a bit rough, and go away and then tell, whoever. So I'm my own worst critic anyway, without someone being critical at a show. So yeah, I don't know where that's just come from. It's a bit weird, isn't it? So anyway, that's about it for tonight. Short but sweet, but to the point. So as I say, if you want those, fire me a message and I'll send you the DXF file, and you can get it over to Ed and get him to cut you some. He might even still have my well, no, he won't, because I've sent countless of number of emails of parts wanting cutting. But I'm quite pleased with that tonight. Nice little bit of detail added. The unfortunate thing, I've still got 11 more to make. But there we are. These things weren't built overnight, were they? Thanks ever so much for watching, tuning in. Like and subscribe and all that, and pass it on to your friends. Share it if you will. And we'll see you next time. And if I don't see you next time, I'll probably see you at the Midland show. You'll see me wandering around, looking and getting inspiration from all those brilliant models that'll be there. I'm probably spending a bit of money to get some bits that I've waylaid That's another thing I seem to do, is I go, oh yeah, I've got some of them somewhere, but I don't know where they are. So I end up going and buying some more. Anyway, enough waffling. See you next time. Ta-da.